Hello and welcome to the October-November Smart Trading Bi-Monthly newsletter update. The Aussie markets have continued to pause and the US markets are pulling back from their run that they've had while they await the outcome of the pending US elections on the 3rd of November, which isn't far away now. So I'd like to give you an update on my trading since my last newsletter video to you. But before I do, I just need to remind you that I'm not licensed to provide any personal investment advice. This video and all the charts and trades I share are for illustrative purposes only, and I'm just showing you how I view the current market and sharing this with you. Now, for those of you that already know me, I have two trading systems that I predominantly trade. My long-term weekly system, which is a long-only system that has the goal of holding shares for the long term for as long as they're going to remain healthy for. Then there's my medium-term daily system that trades both long and short in direction, which I use to trade CFDs. And that one has still been trading long and short right now with the Aussie market stagnating and consolidating. So what I want to do is update you with the trades I shared with you in my last newsletter video, and also a couple of new trades that I have open as well in the market. So let's head on over to Metastock. Here on the screen is the ASX 200. And you can see since COVID with the big drop and the recovery, the market's still churning sideways. This is a weekly chart of the ASX 200 and it simply hasn't been going anywhere since June. If we have a look at the daily chart, you can see that it's really built up resistance around the 6200 level, tried to break it, but has collapsed back in. And right now, until we can get through these pending US elections, the market's just in limbo. Unfortunately, we do have a strong connection with how the US markets move. We don't seem to track up at the speed they track up, but we tend to track down with them, that's for sure. So let's have a look at the S&P 500, which is the major index in the US. Here's the weekly chart. You can see the COVID drop. You can see the recovery. We went sideways in the ASX in June. It continued to power up, especially because it has a strong tech industry as part of the US markets, where Australia tends to be strong in resources. Then it collapsed back and it appears to have double top now and may likely not go anywhere right now until we get this pending election out of the way. Here's the daily chart here. We can see the big rise up, the fall back, tried to recover, and now we're falling down at the moment. So that's how the US market is tracking right now. So what I want to do is give you an update on a couple of trades that I shared with you with my daily swing trading system first. So this was a short trade that I'd entered into on the 6th of August when it had this powerful move down. This is ResMed. Came up in my short scan, met my trading rules, I entered into it. When I talk about my short scan, that's my daily swing trading system that I have set up in a scan in what's called the Explorer in Metastock. And I run a scan on my daily short system every day and the results come up, and that's what I'm looking at each day. We'll just close that down. Oops, I just lost Metastock. There we go. So here we are back at ResMed. So it came up in my scan on this day here, and as mentioned, it met my trading rules for entry. It then continued to fall quite strongly, moved around, got down to a support level, which I then tightened my stop loss up because I always have a trailing stop loss running and I have set rules as to when I will tighten. Then I was taken out when it hit the stop loss. So that was the 23rd of the 9th that I was taken out. Held that for 48 days and it was a small R multiple of 0.6. Now I talk about everything in R multiples. So if you're new to trading, you might not understand what that means, but I educate on all this in my trading courses. So I want to make sure that I never lose more than a 1R on a losing trade, and I want to make obviously a positive R multiple on a winning trade, but also have multiples above 1 as well. So I made more than my risk amount. So that was also a 5.92% return on the trade size, and because this was a CFD margin stock, that I had to put up 7.5% to open this trade. It was 77.81% on the margin. So that's how I look at my returns on each trade. Now the next trade that I shared with you was Bingo. Entered into this on the 24th of August when it came up in my daily long scan, met my trading plan rules, no brainer, enter into it, moves up very strongly, has a bit of a pullback, which is to be expected when it has such a strong move, and as it continued to move up, my trailing stop loss was tightened, but this one I aggressively exited when it could not hold resistance. So this one got up to a key resistance level that it has been at in the past. And if we zoom out, you can see where that price level's had support before, it's had resistance recently, and it moved through it, which was a good sign. But then when it collapsed back underneath and couldn't hold that resistance, that's when I sold out of it. And my stop loss would have taken me out sooner or later if it continues lower as well. That's always my safety net in the market. And then I will have other trading plan rules that I may exit before this. So I held that for 63 days and that was a 1.25 R multiple win. So I made more than my risk amount on that trade. And you can see the percentage returns on that trade as well. So those two daily system trades are closed out now. Here's a new daily system trade that I have opened on the 5th of October. It was one that had risen up, pulled back, got support very nicely, liked what I saw, came up in my scan, entered into it for a swing trade. So this is a daily swing trade. Right now it's had a nice rise and it's pulling back, but I'm still in this trade. And I don't have an aggressive reason to exit because if we zoom out, its next resistance level is quite a fair distance away. So it's already moved through this level over here and these levels here. So the next resistance level is quite a distance away in there. And so I'm happy to wait and see what happens with this one. If it hits my stop loss, which I have a guaranteed stop loss order with the CFD, I will just make a small profit on that one because my trailing stop loss is now in profit. So I'm not risking anything on this trade. So that's a new daily system trade that's opened. Let's head on over to my weekly system trades. Now I had a strong focus on the buy now, pay later shares and I'd built up quite a number of shares in that sector because it was booming after COVID. And most of them have been stopped out but one now. So I've been sharing these trades with you in my newsletter updates. This is OpenPay. I'd entered into this one on the 12th of June with a weekly long-term system. It then went sideways, it then moved up, and then my stop loss was simply hit. And it's now come off from its highs. So this is the full history of the chart. This is as long as it's been trading for. I held this for 89 days and it was a 1.12 R multiple on that one and a over 40% return on investment. So that trade is now closed. Another trade from the buy now pay later is ZipPay. Entered into this when on the 8th of May when it came up. Liked what I saw. Wanted to enter in with the weekly long-term system. I've been in this share many in the past as well and had a big 20R win on this one last year. But just looking at the current trade, I re-entered into it over here after it settled down after COVID and started giving strong signals, moved up very strongly, rose up, met my rules to pyramid, so I bought more. Unfortunately, it then came down and hit my stop. So I didn't make any money on my pyramid trade, but that's okay because I only risk a small portion of profits to buy more. And I always have my initial entry, and that one I made money on. So based on my exit on the 11th of the 9th at $5.96 when it failed to hold that $6 mark and hit my stop, I didn't lose. I made a 0.73 R multiple win on that one. It was an 18.59% return and that was held for 126 days. Now another buy now pay later share is this one. That's from this sector, EML Payments. Unfortunately, this one didn't continue and move strongly at all, and I took a time stop on this one. I'd given it 110 days, and my stop loss still had not moved up to break even. So I entered into this here, moved up, and then it simply fell back, sort of just churned around, went nowhere. I'd given it plenty of time and it would have hit my stop anyway. It has had a little bit of a rebound now, but I'm out of that trade, and to me it's just now going sideways. So I took a half R loss on that one, so I lost half my risk size, and it was a negative 18.59% loss on that one. So I think I made that much on ZipPay and then lost it on this one. So that was interesting. That was the same percentage return on the opposite side. So that trade is also closed. Now another buy now, pay later share. This one's actually still open. So I'd entered into this one on the 2nd of June. It moved up very strongly and then it pulled back. I'd already sold half with a windfall profit exit because it had actually tripled in price with its highs. When it pulled back, was showing signs of holding, I re-entered and I'm still in that trade right now. So that one's still open and holding its own right now, so there's nothing for me to do. So you've just sort of seen a mix now from a particular sector that had been running really strongly. And most of them have closed out, but this is the only one left open right now. Now moving on, this is a new trade that I've added with my weekly long-term system. So I just wanted to share one new daily swing trade and one new weekly long trade. So this one I've bought into on the 23rd of the 9th at $3.51. So you can see it's a share that has fallen very strongly. It's been going sideways, building up a basing pattern, and it has had a nice breakout over here. It came up in my scans. I then watched for the pullback and the bounce, and that's when I've entered into it. So I had this one already provided to me with a signal, which I put on my watch list, waiting for the right entry with the weekly long-term system and making sure that I knew it could hold that support level, which is what it did. And that's a new weekly trade running. So that's an update on the trades that I have shared with you in the past that have closed out, that might still be open, and also 2 new ones that I have added to my portfolio since my last update to you. And what I like to do is keep you updated on how those ones that were still open will be continuing in the market. Now, if you want to know more about my trading systems and strategies, I share it all in my Ultimate Smart Trading Mentor course. That's the course where you learn all about my trading plan, all about my trading systems and its rules, and I talk more about the money management side of things and what I mean by R multiples and how to analyze your trades as a trader and evaluate performance and what my trading routine is. It's jam-packed with all that information, and that's supported by my mastermind program. So I have an ongoing mastermind program which all my mentor clients get a year's membership to, and I share more regularly with my mastermind clients, and we have a couple of webinars throughout the year and much bigger updates as well, and a discussion forum to continue to support, because it's one thing to do a course, it's another thing to have that ongoing support after, and so you can continue to see me putting what I teach you into action in the market all the time. Okay, so if you are new to trading, I can't stress enough how important it is to have a trading plan, and I've written a book all about how to write a trading plan for the stock market. If you are trading and you have no plan, then you need to stop, take the time and write your trading plan as well. And that's what this book's all about. And it also comes with a Word document that you can download and complete your trading plan as you read through the course. So you can purchase that from my website. I'll post it to you personally. You can also have it ordered into bookstores, buy it online, and it's also available in Kindle version as well. Now, if you haven't been to my website before, check out smarttrading.com.au and download my free special report. You'll get the top 10 mistakes that new traders make. And when you do that, you also go into my database and you will be updated when I send out a new newsletter video. Also included in this newsletter that you've received, I also have a video link to the Spotty TV show that I was a part of, that live streams. I was invited to be a guest on that show and they have asked me to come back. So I will occasionally pop up as a special guest on that show. So keep a watch out for that as well. And if you have any questions, my contact details are under the Contact Us section of my website. Goodbye for now.